Okay. So, um, there's so many ideas here, and they all rhyme, which is nice. Nesting and resting and foresting, and really seeing the forest for the trees, which is very, the old saying, that's great, but they don't see the forest for the trees, which means they're not really seeing the whole picture, which most of us don't do about ourselves, for one thing, that whole, all of us. Um, and I love that quite literally, the Thai forest tradition in Buddhism, this is where you go. You go to the forest. And that's where that's practiced. That's where you practice. That's where you retreat to. We don't all have a forest we can go to, or even a quiet place we can go to, especially during the pandemic. That's super challenging. Um, so I think what I'd like for us to explore is Tathagata's delight in secluded places, how it's not wrong or right, but if one is very sensitive, or is wired to thrive in seclusion, what happens when the forest floor is not available? Or what are the components? What are the components of seclusion? I do want to say that it's taken me a really long time to just own the fact that fundamentally I'm an introvert and I'm a hermit. And I would be happy living in a cabin in the woods and seeing people as I liked. And that when I don't have that sense of, it's not noisy, it's just an absence of sound, when there isn't that. So this is a great inquiry. I can't remember, I don't know, maybe I thought of it, but I'm not sure, which is, how do you know? The original inquiry is, how do you know when you enter a cathedral? How do you know when you enter the forest? Like, as opposed to just walking through some trees. How do you know? So close your eyes for a second and deliberately go in. Until you know, I'm in the forest. So if we have positive associations with being in the woods, say, that might be pleasant. It might feel a certain way in the body, but we're tracking our ability to have proprioception is where we are in space and time. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm doing this, I'm in relationship to these things. Interoception is the skill of knowing where we are internally, all the parts, what's going on here, you know, going deep, and just what's going on here. So, um, I personally find that I am much more able to do that when I have certain circumstances. And that's not just preference. In some people, that's a need. I need solitude. I need it. My soul needs it, um, to rebuild or to operate. And I think we're all wired differently, and more sensitively or less sensitively. But that these trips to the forest can be useful for everyone to be able to tap into, because there you are. There you are. And that's what we'll do today in in the meditation. Um, so let's see. So this idea of solitude being, it's like a prerequisite for seeing the big picture is settling and having that just quiet where there's not any type of yammering, and even about ourselves. Um, Maybe we ought to just simply do the meditation and then we'll talk about it. Let's do that. I've never done that before. I might as well just do it Let's just do it. Let's do this thing. Okay. All right. What have we got here? Is that all right with everyone? Everyone's so cool with that? Okay.
I might not be able to speak too much after, but I'll see what I can do.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is a kind of a doozy, I'll be honest with you. I think I forgot about this actually. But... Okay. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe it won't work at all. Whatever it is, it will be fine. Okay. Allow the sound of the bell to beckon you inward. Establish that posture. That's right for you. It's just right. And find your way into stillness. Sometimes we move around. Really commit to as much presence and stillness as you can during this. So we're going to go right in. Right in. First, imagine that you're walking at a tree line, just walking along. You can be barefoot or not barefoot. And there's just this sense of, being right here. And there's a call to walk a little deeper into these trees. So you walk a little bit more deeply. As the Zen master Dogen aptly put it, the place is here. The way leads everywhere. Just walking and feeling sensations circulating in the body. Noting that stirring, that circulating. Noting the stirring can help us settle. Deeper and deeper, until that point, you know, you have entered the forest. And whatever you were doing before just closes like a cloak behind you. You're in the forest. Any type of very tall trees that you imagine are there, maybe ones you've seen, maybe a redwood or a sequoia, maybe one you would just imagine. And you're walking heel toe across the moss and the leaves and the sticks, deeper into this coolness. And whatever tree calls to you, that's your seat, the base of this tree. And you settle in and sit down right into the forest floor. The tree is there, but you don't need to lean on it. You're perfectly aligned. And this coolness and this presence is beckoning you. Just allow the coolness and the little soft, cool breezes that are rustling the leaves that we can't know where they're coming from. Allow all of that to beckon you inside. Allowing the waves of energy, of the sound of the breath. Allowing this body to be the vehicle that carries you deeper inside, to heed this call for solitude. The body becomes the vehicle halfway between heaven and earth to enter this sacred space. The forest floor where everything and nothing is happening. Being fully aware and awake to what's occurring outside the body and inside the body. The plant life, the birds, the blood and bone, all of it teeming with life, with decay, with transformation, and with change. And also brimming with stillness, coolness, sensing your place in this. So there's a sense of both grounding and immersion, and also great space. Feeling a sense of settledness. There might be a sigh coming up in the body, of appreciation for greatness and vastness, for this forest, for this tree, for this body. Maybe a sense of safety and refuge, of sanctuary. Inhabition instead of inhibition. Inhabiting this body. Quiet, settling deeper and deeper into a rest. And a little hum and vibration that connects you and the forest floor. It's like threads or like fabric, vibration. And there's a lot of it. Nothing is stray. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's excluded. This is your spot. There could be a sense of fullness or emptiness or both. The forest floor, sensing that where you're connected. Whatever the sensation is of heat or cool, softness, places that give way and do not give way. The smells of leaves decaying, of animals, of plants, of wind. The forest floor is not separate from the forest itself because of where it is or because of gravity. So in your mind's eye, look up. You're not separate from the sky as seen through the leaves. None of it's separate. Nothing is separate because of the illusion of proximity or size or grandeur or comparison. This is the sense of the sacred being right here. The sacred being is you. From this place of presence, how do you know when you've entered the forest? How do you know? Awareness, our aware and awake presence or pre-sense is all here. And in the words of Nora Ephron's older couple on Knowing, and in that moment I knew. I knew the way you know about a good melon from When Harry Met Sally. So how do you know? That's presence. And in this place of presence and coolness and connectedness, there is a fearlessness. This is the gift of fearlessness that's a hallmark of all the traditions. There is a fearlessness. And it's aware and reverent and fully attuned to what is actually here, both seen and unseen. The forest floor is a wonderful teacher. The floor shows up to what is. We're showing up to what is, allowing ourselves to be seen doing it too, if only to the rest of the forest. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? If a me falls in the forest, does it make a sound? So there's this element of courage in being present and staying present. Staying in the posture, say when we are in fear or grief. Staying put. Grounding. Staying put in the present when the past comes in and poses as present time experience. Recognizing that everything except this moment is a state of delusion. Everything else is a time robber and a body snatcher. It's a thief of presence. And also the spaciousness to understand that delusion doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means we wake up into this moment. This is what's real, and this is what's true. Continuing to be present. Whatever that is that let you know that you've entered the forest, that presence is also within you. Contacting that presence is so powerful and strong. It's a reminder of who we are so we can be present. This larger self, this higher self, resonant with the entire forest singing. It's just being. Doesn't belong to anyone. Doesn't feel like it so much exists in the mind. This is feeling through the heart. Sensing, seeing, hearing, feeling. Through the heart. Smelling. Through the heart. It's not my presence or your presence. It is presence. So here we are, awake, grounded, fully alert to what is here without fear. Full engagement. Knowing that if we wander out of the forest, we can come back in good faith. We are seen and we see this forest. To see and be seen, that's the highest wonder. This sense of the sacred, of space in the body, in the whole soma. A sense of seclusion without any exclusion. Tathagata's delight secluded places. Ultimately, there is the knowing I'm not alone here. Take your time returning, like a little bit at a time.